This is a video response to our good friend Ray, otherwise known as pocketmego, from Channel Genesis. And in this video response, we're going to attempt, and I mean attempt, to answer his thing about the game in Pulp Hero, um, as it relates to video games and books. Now, let me preface this by go ahead and saying that I haven't really read much, alright? And I'm not, bragging about that. I should be reading a lot more than I do. My form of reading is actually watching TV shows and letting those stories develop. But let's backtrack for a second. A character when you mentioned like Batman, one that was interesting. Let's take the female aspect of this for a minute. You had characters like, let me think, Wonder Woman, Batgirl, Babs, the Oracle. You had, no, it's Barbara Gordon. You had, let me think, She-Ra, who is He-Man's sister. You have Gem. You have what is now you have, of course, my show, my drug of choice, Sailor Moon. The thing of it is, and I'm going to explain myself here in a minute. In Batman, when you have Batgirl, you have a female detective, which you also had when when you had like Carolyn Keene, who by the way was the same person, Frank W. Dixon, that wrote the Hardy Boys books. So you have again the detective stereotype, which is a very good one. Then in like the 1980s, we started saying, well, can women actually fight? And then you had like, your Shiras who actually fought with the sword and so forth. And I used Jem, but Jem didn't really. The thing about Jem was she was a non-violent heroine. She was more of a musician than she was really a fighter. So maybe that was a bad example. But then you have people like Princess Guinevere and the Jewel Riders. Well, all three of them were females, and they used stones and magical powers to try and go after their villains, which I always found to be interesting. And then, of course, you have what I like to call the reluctant hero or heroine, such as Tuskino Usagi or Serena or Sailor Moon. And she has this band of she has this band of companions that help her. And then, of course, you got like the really tough girl. That would be this one right here, Kina Makoto. You have Reino. She's the like priestess. You have all these different forms of heroines and heroes that evolved over the years. You want another good example of detective? Okay, here's one. The anime Case Closed or Detective Conan, which is about a guy who was a grown up, and then he was forced to take a serum which reverted him into a kid, and now he's trying to figure out how to get back to being his grown up self and so forth. There's another example, but in his case, he's more of a non-violent guy because even though he gets put in dangerous situations, where he's trying to figure out, how to solve this case and who done it. Um, yeah, it's weird because when you do a lot of reading, and again, I'm going to be the first to admit, my form of reading is watching a story develop on television. As much as we shit on reality TV, sometimes it can tell a compelling story. Just not often. Um, TV shows today, it's hard because, especially in the animated media, because anime takes over a lot of what people watch. That's factual. That's the only way this works. Um, because there's a lot of different heroes, or in some cases, there's not really a hero, but it's more like a romantic type thing. Like, there's the ones with the girl who's trying to find her prince, but it's just she's got to go in through and fight the student council and all this shit. There's there's ones where this girl goes batshit crazy, and because she has like a being living inside of her, and it turns into a science fiction novel. It's almost like something out of fucking Doctor Who. The point is, when we look at our preferred genre of a book, in some cases we have to look at where it is evolving and where it's going. And in a lot of cases, because there's an animated media, we tend to look at it now a little bit differently. And one thing that Japanese television has always taught us is you can tell a story through animation. Just don't turn your viewers into an idiot and make them one shot, one shot, one shot, one shot, one shot. Make a story that has a beginning, a middle, and an end, and do it in a series. That's probably why Doctor Who lasts. Well, no, in Doctor Who, I'm sorry, Doctor Who's bad example. Because in that case, it's a episode based on a story written by someone, right? Anyway, here's my point. Entertainment today is all about how do you get from point A to point B. Much like when you read your Batman Arkham Asylum book, when you read your, the Death of Superman, which I used to have that comic, and so forth. I used to have the old things. You take a tape, you pop it in the cassette player, and you follow along the comic book while they're reading it to you. That was always interesting. And it was Batman, by the way. I had them. It was like a trilogy series. Anywho, I hope this is something of what you're looking for. If not, please don't hesitate to tell me. I shall talk to you later, my good friend. Bye-bye.